shit's in the safe. Got me a spot out the way. Nigga just tryna be safe.
Let's get to sports talk.
And will release quarterback Andy Dalton, who has had a lot of very good years in Cincinnati. Louis Riddick is with us as well this morning. Let's talk about that. Andy Dalton becomes a free agent quarterback now in a market that has Cam Newton. What do you expect for Dalton out there now?
Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, obviously, the conversation is going to immediately focus on the New England Patriots and whether or not, from a fit perspective, does he fit what possibly they would be looking for in terms of a veteran acquisition in the context of their offense?
I feel like he can fit because he's a veteran present, and Belichick like having no veteran quarterbacks. I feel like he'll fit right in with New England. Or he could go to Jacksonville and fight for the spot against Mitchell. They battle over who could come to starter. Or New England could be the landing spot for him. I feel like that was the Belichick was waiting on, for him to get released from the Bengals. He might take a chance and bring Andy Dalton in to potentially be the starter for the Patriots. But you know this time was coming when they drafted Joe Burrow. You know he was going to be released. But what is going to be a good landing spot for him? I feel like the Patriots going to give him an opportunity to be their starting quarterback. I feel like because he's a veteran and he got a lot of experience in this league, and I feel like they going to give him an opportunity to become their starting quarterback.
Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't have any intel on that, although I would only just say this right now. You know, like 2 of the past 3 years, Indy has really struggled as far as completing above, even getting, cracking the 60% completion percentage plateau, and his yards per attempt have been down too. So, in the six yards per attempt range. Now, a lot of that doesn't, there are more things than just him that have to do with that. Obviously, pass protection, consistency of the weaponry on the perimeter, all that has to do with that. Now, but it will be interesting to see if New England does investigate this and kick the tires here, because from a profile standpoint, it would make sense from a veteran acquisition standpoint for them.
All right, we just got this off of Adam Schefter's Twitter feed, and I've got Shefty live with me on the phone here. Shefty, thank you this morning. What can you tell us? Andy Dalton, we just reported the news. What can you tell us?
Yeah. Listen, I think the Bengals want to go in an entirely different direction. They draft Joe Burrow, number 1. He's been studying the Bengals playbook. We told him last week that he was prepared to be their starter. And I think that this now tells you that Joe Burrow is square in line to become their starter. They have enough confidence in what he's picked up in the offense to become their starter, and they don't need to carry $17.7 million against their salary cap. So by releasing Andy Dalton, they clear out a lot of space, save a lot.
Yes, they're trying to clear out the space of releasing him and saving that 17. Because they're going to potentially want to probably bring some more players in or give that money to Mixon or AJ for extension, just to save it for either bring someone in or give it to them when they extend their contract. They wanted to save that much money from Andy Dalton, and they just released him so they could save that. But this was going to happen because Joe Burrow is going to be their starters, so they was going to move on from Andy Dalton and save that money for when they either extend their contracts or bring someone in.
The money, and yes, you would have liked to have traded him. That would have been an ideal scenario, but clearly they never got the right offer. They never got a timely offer, and it didn't work out. Now, maybe they could have taken for the draft. They decided not to do that. Maybe they thought something better would come along. Clearly, it never did, and it worked out to where now, 1 week after the draft, they decide to release Andy Dalton. And so now we've got 2 separate situations. You got the Bengals setting sail with Joe Burrow, and you've got Andy Dalton on the free agent market joining the likes of Cam Newton, Joe Flacco, any other quarterback that's out there. And once again, as we've talked about throughout the entire offseason, the supply of quarterbacks exceeds the demand for quarterbacks. Most teams have filled their positions. When we look around the league, people still look at New England and wonder whether they would bring in another quarterback to compete with Jarrett Stidham and Brian Hoyer. People look at Jacksonville, which has Josh Dobbs as its backup quarterback to Gardner Minshew.
Now, what I just said, them are the two places that either could bring in Dalton or Cam Newton. I feel like Jacksonville might try to bring in Cam Newton to compete with Dobbs and Minshew. I feel like New England bring in Dalton to compete with Stidham and Hoyer. I feel like Andy is going here to New England. I feel like Cam is going to be bringing to Jacksonville on this side. I feel like they're the only two places that you could potentially come a starter on them teams because they don't have no starters right now. Yeah, Jacksonville might go with Minshew, but if they bring in Cam Newton, they might go to that direction and let Cam start over him. And then Dalton might could start over Stidham or Hoyer. I feel like that's the perfect fit for Andy. I feel like the fit could be for Cam Newton with Jacksonville. But them the two places they can go. Because everyone else already filled their quarterback positions.
This point in time, you look at a team like the Dallas Cowboys right now, they still don't have a viable, proven, experienced backup for Dak Prescott, who hasn't signed his franchise tag. That's another interesting spot that just sits out there at this point in time. But short of those teams, you tell me a team that has an opening, and there aren't many of them.
Well, no, there isn't, but that's a good list to start with. Shefty, outstanding work, as always. Again, Adam Schefter with the report. The Bengals are releasing Andy Dalton. Do I still have Ryan Clark here? RC, let me just ask you, what is your take on Dalton? Like right now, we look at him, you look at Flacco, you look at Cam. If you're a team that needs a quarterback, how excited are you by this?
Yeah. Well, I think the thing about Andy Dalton is him having enough awareness to understand where he is in his career. You heard Lewis mention what's happened to him over the last 2 years. And so he needs to go to a place that's going to give him an opportunity to compete. And I think that Andy Dalton can be a very good and viable starting quarterback for one of these teams. Now, I do believe he's a bridge guy. I don't believe he's your quarterback for the years to go in the future. But right now, if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, to me, you should be on the phone figuring out, can you get Andy Dalton, and what would be the cost? What would be the price?
Yes, bring him in. Bring him in there or New England. But Jacksonville, get on the phone with him and try to bring him in and compete for that job. Because I feel like Andy still want to be a starter, and I feel like he could win out that job. He might not be the future for y'all, but he could be that guy for right now and help y'all try to get to the playoffs.
To have him go in and compete with Gardner Minshew to be your starting quarterback. If the New England Patriots are set on Jarrett Stidham, I don't see Andy Dalton necessarily being that much of an upgrade, but the Jacksonville Jaguars are a team that should be very interested in Andy Dalton and what he wants going forward.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube.
For the look, baby, the rub, nigga, I gotta be safe.